Hi everybody, welcome to another top tips for IELTS video with faster English. If you've been following this series, you will see that the barbers have reopened in the UK and I've finally had a haircut, which is a big relief. But on to our lesson. Today we will be looking at writing again, part 1 again, but this time it's the process diagram task. We're going to look specifically at the marking criteria. So what are the examiners looking for when they mark your writing, and what can you do to boost your writing score in relation to those criteria. So let's get straight on with that. Let's go. Okay, everybody, here we are in our writing part 1 task. This is from IELTS.org, the official site, with lots of good practice materials available on there. So the task wording is very much the same as it always is. We get a description of our diagram and our instructions and write at least 150 words. The instructions are always the same. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Well, that's a little bit stranger with this type of task because we've got this main features and comparisons part. With this kind of diagram, with this kind of task, everything is a main feature. You need to include all parts of the process. And it's kind of difficult to make comparisons. So I think for this particular task, the wording that they use for all the other tasks is not quite appropriate. But nevertheless, we are going to look at how to approach this task. So there it is. We have the process of brick manufacturing. Oh, let's go in that way. So I mentioned earlier the criteria. Hugely important to know the criteria for your IELTS writing and speaking. Why? Because you need to know what the examiners are looking for. What do they want you to do? So there are 4 different criteria for writing, and I hope we know those by now. Can you remember what the 4 criteria are, the 4 scores you get for your writing? Well, let's have a look. Again, these are available publicly. This is a public document. It's not just for examiners. And it tells you the scores you get are for task achievement. That's, do you answer the question, essentially. Your second mark is coherence and cohesion. Does your writing link together? Does it flow in a logical structure? This one, lexical resource, is essentially your vocabulary. Do you have a wide range of vocabulary? And finally, grammatical range and accuracy. Do you use a range of different grammatical structures and tenses, and are they accurate? So you'll get, when your writing is marked, you'll get a score for each of these things and then an average score overall. So they are all very important to consider when you are doing your writing. Today we'll look at all of them, a little bit more focus on these 3. Okay, so this is our approach for today. We'll look at the structure and we'll look at key features in relation to those criteria. So the structure is fairly simple with this. You're going to have an introduction which will, as always, include a paraphrase of the title and, as always, very important, an overview sentence. And then you simply describe the process step by step. Okay, now our key features, well, the coherence and cohesion part, that's one criteria. We need to include linking words to link our text together. And for this task, that will be sequencing words like first, next, then, after that, finally. It's a sequence, it's a process, so we need those linking words. Secondly, in your vocabulary, we're going to focus on the verbs you use. You cannot keep using the same verbs, avoid repeating any vocabulary, so we need a wide selection of different verbs. And finally, for our grammar score, we're going to look at a range of different grammatical structures and the correct tense, which is the most appropriate tense for this task. So let's get on with that. We're going to have one more quick look at the task. So you can see there's a process for making bricks. We dig the clay. It goes through some industrial processes here. It's cut and shaped, dried, heated, packaged and delivered. So we need to include all of that. We can use the vocabulary that is given to us in the diagram, and here we have some help that tells us about this word clay. It's the material that we use for making bricks. So on to our introduction. So in the task, this is the title. The diagram below shows the process by which bricks are manufactured for the building industry. So we need to paraphrase some of that. Don't worry about paraphrasing every single word. And not always changing the word for a synonym. We can change the word for a different form of the same word. So for example, here we have the process by which bricks are manufactured. We can change that, same words essentially, but different forms, different structure. We get the manufacturing process for bricks. So we're still using process. We're using the root word manufacture, but we've taken it here and turned it into the manufacturing process for bricks. And another word, we've found a synonym, building industry, we've changed to construction industry. So a little bit of paraphrasing, a little bit of changing structure, and we get this sentence. The manufacturing process for bricks used in the construction industry is shown in the diagram. Okay. Then we have our overview sentence. So a general overview, a general description of the whole process in one sentence, and that is here. It includes several stages from extraction of clay through industrial processes to packaging and delivery. You can see here I've put these words in italics: from, through and to. These are sequencing words, linking adverbs that show the sequencing of our text. Well, they're not actually adverbs here, but they're linking words. And the other two things I've highlighted, we talked about selection of verbs. So we've got used and includes here. So two different verbs. So there you go. We've got paraphrased the title and included an overview sentence. We've linked it together with a selection of verbs, and there we have a very good introduction. Now, the next part, describe the process, is our main body. So we're going to again look at linking words, selection of verbs, and the grammar. So here is our main body. I've highlighted the selection of verbs, so you can see those all highlighted here. Again, in italics, I've put our sequencing words. We've got in the first stage, then, next, once the bricks are shaped, the first oven, after that, then, and in the final stages. So a selection of different linking words to show the sequence of the text. A selection of different verbs to show our range of vocabulary. Dug, from the ground, passed through the grid. Water are added, the mixture is shaped. Then we've got dries, heated, left, packaged and shipped. So there you can see a really wide selection of different verbs in our text. So that leaves our third criterion, which is the grammar. So a range of structures and appropriate use of tense. So the main focus here is these underlined sections show the use of a particular structure, a particular grammatical structure. You can see the clay is dug. Lumps are passed through a metal grid. Sand and water are added. It is shaped. They are heated. And the bricks are left. Finally, the bricks are packaged and shipped. So I hope you can see, I hope it's ringing a bell in your head. What is the structure we're using here? It's the passive voice. All of these have got the verb to be and the third form of the verb, the past participle. So hope you can remember with the passive, we're using present simple passive here. We take the object of an active sentence and make it the subject. We add the verb to be and the past participle. So instead of a digger digs the clay, we take clay is dug. Instead of a machine shapes it into bricks, we say it is shaped into bricks. Instead of someone heats the bricks, we say they are heated. So for a process, it's critical that you use the passive voice to describe the process. So yeah, three things: sequencing words, range of verbs, and passive voice. Those are key factors to the process and diagram task. We put all of those together, we put these paragraphs together, and we get our finished article down here, our finished report. Should look like that. And this comes to 157 words. So tiny bit over the minimum, but that's all you need. 157 words in 4 paragraphs. This final paragraph is just 1 sentence. And that is all you need. All right. Okay, everybody. That's the end of our lesson today. I hope it was useful. I know it was useful because I've shown you how the things you do in your writing are connected to the actual marking criteria, how they will boost your score, okay? So remember, task achievement, answer the question. Coherence and cohesion, link it together, give it a sequence. Lexical range, use lots of vocabulary, especially a range of verbs. And grammatical range and accuracy, use a range of grammar, particularly the passive voice for this task. And you will get a great score in your IELTS. So if you would like more top tips like these. If you would like to prepare for IELTS with faster English with me, then please sign up for a course. Okay, bye bye. I'll see you soon.